So now here we will discuss something about the ground plan of Organon of medicine. It means the sixth edition of Organon which is written here. So in that Organon of medicine, how is the ground plan? What it contains we will see briefly, or how it contains what is written here. So if you see the ground plan of Organon of medicine, here it has got mainly two parts here. The first part is the introduction of Organon, and second part is the Organon proper. So here first thing is the introduction we will see. So this introduction was added for the first time in the second edition of Organon. From second edition onwards this introduction is added, and from second edition again the introduction part is again renewed. It is written again and again by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. Many things were added from second edition onwards in this introduction part. So what we are studying now is the introduction of sixth edition of Organon. So here this introduction of sixth edition of Organon, here Dr. Hahnemann has mentioned about different therapeutic systems of his time, whatever the systems which were existing during his time. And he has also reviewed about the allopathic therapeutics during his time. And he has also mentioned about the accidental homeopathic cures which were observed by different physicians in the history. In history, many people have observed homeopathic cures by using the similia principle, but they were not knowing that they will get the cure, but accidentally they got these cures. Then in this introduction, Hahnemann also has mentioned his views about diseases, that is dynamic concept. Hahnemann was of a belief that disease is dynamic in origin. It is not materialistic. According to him, pathology is not the disease. Pathology is the result of the disease. Pathology is only the result. The materialistic changes which are occurring there in the body, they are not the disease. According to him, disease is a dynamic concept. There are some morbific agents are there which will cause disease, and these morbific agents are also dynamic. Disease is also dynamic. So he has mentioned the dynamic concept here, and also he has mentioned about the dynamicity of vital principle and drugs. So what he mentions is the drugs which we are using to cure the diseases. If you want to treat the disease, if you want to cure the disease, the drugs which we are using, they should also be dynamic in nature, and these drugs should bring out change there in the vital principle which is deranged during the diseased condition. Then he has also mentioned about the principle of similia as the law of cure in his introduction part. Then he has also mentioned about the minute or minimum dose. So according to him, a very minute or a very minimum dose is required to bring about the cure in a person. You do not require plenty of drugs or plenty of repetition of doses. Only minimum dose is required to stimulate the vital principle. That minimum or minute dose will stimulate the vital principle and bring out the cure according to him. Then in his introduction part, he has also mentioned what should be the mission of the physician and how should be the ideal cure. This thing also he has mentioned in the introduction part. Then after introduction part, next comes is the Organon proper, where the aphorisms will start here. That is the proper part of Organon. So this Organon proper part, again we divide this Organon part into two parts. One is the theoretical part and second one is practical part. Theoretical part, it starts from aphorism number 1 to aphorism number 70, and the practical part, it starts from aphorism number 71 to aphorism number 291. Now the theoretical part, if you see the theoretical part, what it contains, it mainly contains right from the first aphorism onwards, it mainly contains what should be the mission of the physician, what should be the ideal cure, what should be the knowledge of physician, and what is the importance of knowledge of drugs. It also includes the application of drug knowledge to disease knowledge. It includes knowledge of selecting the remedy, and at the end of the theoretical part, in 70th aphorism, he has given the summary of all those aphorisms. So the theoretical part mainly contains what should be the mission of physician, what should be the ideal cure, knowledge of physician, knowledge of drugs, and application of drug knowledge to disease knowledge, and knowledge of selecting the remedy. This is the theoretical part. Then if you come to the practical part, in practical part, that is from aphorism number 71 onwards up to 291, he has mentioned in detail about the classification of diseases. That is Hahnemann's classification of diseases. So he has classified the diseases in various ways. We will study later on. Then he has also mentioned about case taking. Then he has given many instructions regarding case taking. Then he has given instructions regarding drug proving. Drugs of different sources, how they have to be proved on healthy human individuals. That those instructions in detail he has mentioned in drug proving in the practical part of Organon. Then he has also mentioned about what are the most suitable methods to cure the diseases, and he has also mentioned about the mode of administering the remedy. He has mentioned about one-sided diseases, mental diseases, intermittent fever, and he has also mentioned about the homeopathic pharmacy and drug dynamization, how to prepare a dynamic drug. And also at the end he has mentioned about the auxiliary modes of treatment. It means these are the therapeutic measures other than using the drugs. Like they include like magnetism, electricity, mesmerism, massage, bath. All these things will come under auxiliary modes of treatment. So all these things are included in the practical part of Organon. So this is about the ground plan of Organon.